Lesson 6. Der Kanzler hat am Wochenende das Ferienhaus besucht. Now you might remember Ferienhaus from before, so it's a house in which fairies live, right? No, in which people celebrate, and you only celebrate when you have holidays, and Ferien are school holidays. So it's your weekend house or holiday home. Der Kanzler, we know already, yeah? The Chancellor has am Wochenende, you remember, you have to learn as one fixed expression, Woche, Mittwoch. Ende contains its meaning, end, so the end of the week. And so what did he do in his Ferienhaus at the end of the week? He besucht it. Yeah, hat besucht, by the way, that's the past tense. Don't worry about it. It's easy to recognize. The ending you can cut off. So it's somehow, it has to do with be and suchen. Yeah, suchen means to search. We had that before. Suchen, search. And be is a direction. So someone is looking for something or someone in a certain direction, and whenever you do that, it basically means you visit someone. So, visit. Interesting, right? So, visiting someone requires searching in German. And someone who visits you is der Besucher. And if it's a woman, you remember, imagine a Besucher is a job. Die Besucherin, Besucherin. That's more than enough about this. Here is a longer sentence. Als gestern Abend wieder nach Berlin gefahren ist. We have the als again, you remember? It could be as, but maybe it's easier to translate it as when. So when he, and here is one of my favorite words, John Lennon had a nice song about it. You cut off the scalp of the G and you get a Y. Looks basically the same. Yester, what could that mean? Which word with yester do you know? Day. We just cut it off. We just didn't write Gestertag. We just say gestern. So when he yesterday, Abend we look later, Berlin gefahren, you remember fahr, to drive. So when he drove, because it's the past, he has driven, is driven we say, but let's say drove. So he drove where? Nach Berlin, to Berlin. By the way, nach, you could say nach or zu, but you cannot say that with cities. With cities and countries, you 99% of the time use nach. Yeah? City. And zu is with people. So we get to that when we see it. So Abend, you might already know the greeting Guten Abend. Let me actually, Guten Abend gives away the gender. At one point you will realize the gender is hidden here. Abend, in Dutch it's Avond, Avond, and the E turned into, the A turned into an E, even, ing. Yeah, and you see the even in the Abend, the B turned into V, you remember this from before, evening. So yesterday evening, and wieder, we had this by with the word wiederholen, remember that? Let me repeat the meaning of wieder, which means again. Yeah? So wiederholen means to fetch again, so wieder means again. And this whole sentence again played the role of position 1, so hat is on position 2 as expected, and who has had what? Hat, and at the end we check, okay, there's a verb, so we take this. So he has übernommen. Über cannot always be translated as, but very often it means above or over. In this case it's over. And nomen comes from nehmen, which I have actually no hook for, taken. So he has taken over something. Yeah. Maybe someone who takes something always makes the noise nom 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 nom. Yeah. Let me take this nom 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 nom. So you remember übernommen, nehmen, genommen. Good. So he has taken over. So what has he taken over? It's Müller that has taken over, of course. Die Aufsicht über die Tiere. Well, Aufsicht is one of our favorite words, right? So auf, difficult to translate, but Sicht was the sight. So in this case it actually, well, how do you say Aufsicht? I would say oversight, overseeing something is Aufsehen. Super, that's lovely. Super means from kind of from top, right? Super sight. Yeah, the oversight. So here even auf can be translated as over. So these little words that are in their core, they derive from a preposition. You will hear this word later. They are difficult to translate. Über is pretty reliable. Auf, as you can see, requires a bit of fantasy. So Mr. Müller has taken over the oversight, and you take oversight over something, you have über again. Yeah. Die Tiere. I'm not sure how you call the well, yeah, I cannot say that. So I always get tears in my eyes when I see animals treated badly. So that's an animal, and the E at the end indicates it's more than one. Animals. So he's taking the oversight, the supervision of the animals. Quite a mouthful, don't worry. This is never about showing you what you should be able to create. This is really about helping you understand, because it's the first step. Yeah? In B2 you will be able to create sentences like this. While this is an A1 course, it doesn't mean that everything you see has to be A1, because that's also no challenge. Real life doesn't wait until you're ready for B1, B2, and I want you to be able to navigate even in an environment which you're not capable of reproducing yourself. But with a bit of effort you can get to these things, and of course with the dictionary. Again, this is not about really learning these, the information is really about a way of thinking and how to analyze these sentences. Two sentences at once, but let's separate them. Again, als comes quite a lot. Yeah, remember it's wenn, so the more we repeat this. You should know by now. The, both. And most of the time you see, if it comes with die beiden, if it comes with die, then it has to have the en ending. Without the die, you very likely just see beide. So, the both, heute, heute, heute. It's spoken like this, heute. And it means today. I'm not really sure how I can see this. In Austrian, Austrian is not, in Bavarian it is heuer. Yeah, so they don't say heute, they say heuer, so that's a bit different. I don't know what they say in Swiss German though. So heute means today. I'm not sure how to help you remember this. Maybe by just hearing it plenty of times. Morgen, remember, with the capital M, morning. Today morning, this morning. Füttern. There is a word in English, I'm pretty sure, that's called futter, but I'm not sure what it means. Quick check. Wow, funny. How beautiful. It means food. And lining, I think that's also something. In German, the same word would also mean lining of your jacket maybe. But if futter means food for animals, and that's exactly what this means, to give animals food. So that's a lovely coincidence. And wollen might remind you of wool, but it has nothing to do with this. But you can remember, I want wool. I want wool. Don't forget that. So wollen means to want, and the te is just part of the past. So when he wanted this morning to feed the two. Wow, what a thing, right? So when he, the two dogs, which are not mentioned, today morning, feed wanted. So when he wanted to feed the two dogs this morning, difficult. But what you actually only need to understand is he wanted to feed. And then it's very likely that he wants to feed the dogs. Now let's take a look. Waren verschwunden. Waren, you remember there once was a war. So this is just the plural version of was. And who was what? Verschwunden, you remember again, swindle. So the more one swindles, the more one vanishes. So were, they vanished. They were gone. Beautiful. Ich habe überall nach ihnen gesucht. Habe, and then at the end we have gesucht. Yeah, so I have, and we have suchen, we have seen this before. You remember that searched. So I have searched. Yeah. I have searched, of course, they were gone. He realized they were gone. So what did he search? Well, we use the nach here because it's suchen nach. It's married to the preposition nach. This is a preposition. Don't worry about what that means. Them. Ihnen we had before, it means them, if it's a lowercase I. Yeah? If it's a capital case I, we are talking to the reader again. So, über means over, but überall means everywhere. So, I'm not sure whether overall makes sense, but everywhere. Yeah? So, I have searched for them. Yeah, suchen nach basically is to search for. Yeah, and you see, you cannot translate these, and you will learn this in the course, of course. And this is a short form, aber keine Spur gefunden. You remember aber doesn't take any position, like und. And we need to add who has not found anything, so er. But we also lack actually another verb, because gefunden cannot be on its own. Hat. And the reason why that's not there is because it was already in this sentence. Habe. You see this here, so we don't have to repeat this here. Oh, sorry. This needs to be ich, because it needs to be identical, of course. Yeah? You can only leave away if this is identical. You see that? Aber ich habe keine Spur, keine, remember, not a. Spur, I think there is, you have a word spurt, but it has nothing to do, maybe it's related. Spur is a track that I know, but I actually wanted to look up spurt. Yeah. So ironically, not ironically, or fittingly, to spurt means to have a quick run, right? A short and powerful run. It seems to be related to leaving a trace, or yeah, a track. So that might be your hook. So I haven't found a trace or a track, and found I gave away a couple of times, but you see here fund, basically found. Yeah. So I have not found a trace.